Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Here to talk all things hockey are your hosts, Brad Crisco, Ryan Hanna, and Evan Lobsinger.
I'm going to take a very quick poll. Who in this room has ever totaled a car before?
Oh, come close.
No, it has to be a total.
No.
Have you?
No.
Well, we got a historic first.
You totaled your car?
I totaled Catherine's car.
Oh, no. You didn't tell us this pre-show.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to give away my hot opening.
What'd you do?
Well, I didn't do any. Well, I mean, I was the recipient of Newton's third law. So yesterday we were driving up to Collingwood to go snowboarding. We weren't even going to go. We're just like, yeah, okay, something to do. Whatever. We're like 25 minutes outside. So that's also one of the worst parts about it because it takes 2 hours to get there. We're almost there. We were sitting on the road in the car to make a left. And roads were a little bit snow covered, but we're up north, like you drive slow. So we're sitting there to turn left onto the road, and buddy behind us decides to whip around the bend, probably going 70 to 80 kilometers an hour, which is probably double what you should have been going.
43 and a half miles an hour.
Yeah, into freedom units. Yeah. Obviously can't stop. Dummies the back of our car, and hits us into oncoming traffic, where we then hit the side of a snowplow.
Oh, at least it was a plow. That's just municipal funds. Who cares?
I don't really care, but snow trucks or snow plows are big and weigh a lot of pounds. So hit us into the side of a snowplow and basically like bumper cart us around, and then they T-boned us again. So basically, like when you hit a plow and it weighs like 20 times as much as you, your entire front end is gone. Our back end is gone, and then we got hit like 4 more times as we spun around in a circle. Yeah. So
what happened to the guy? Who did he get?
They didn't have snow tires on.
Of course. Why would they?
They're from Scarborough. They asked where the nearest exit was on the highway. I was like, this is a county road. There aren't exits. They're called streets.
Oh, no.
Honestly.
Were they apologetic?
Honestly, I had to walk away. Otherwise, I would have it was a woman. I would have honestly slugged her right in the face.
Yeah, I get angry too when people like almost kill you. Like, that's a fair assessment. So
neither of us were hurt, thank God. Like it looked like a war zone. There was shrapnel everywhere. Yeah, so thank God the snowplow driver stopped and was just like, that person fucked up.
Yeah.
And long story short, tow truck driver comes, cop comes, the other person gets charged with careless driving. It's basically like
routine.
Yeah, like, and the snowplow driver's like, this person's going way too fast, doesn't have snow tires, dummied this car, hit them into me. And the cop's like, okay.
Good on that tow truck driver or the snowplow.
He was, he's a small town guy, so
Walmart, Ontario.
Those sort of things mean a lot to.
Oh, there goes Evan's phone.
A lot to guys like that. So, it's funny when the tow truck driver comes. Catherine's like, guy's like, well, at least you can get a brand new car. And Catherine's like, oh, she didn't like, didn't really. I was driving, by the way, so she didn't really like get it, and she's just like, oh, okay.
I would say poor girl, but
Catherine's like, do you think my car's total? I was like, half of your car is on the other side of the road. The front end is in the ditch over there, and your bumper is in the ditch over there.
That's big totaled.
When you can use 3 different directionalities to describe her car,
yeah,
it's done.
It was like in 4 dimensions. So,
you look to your right.
Yeah,
There it is. You look to your left. There it is. You look up. You're slightly confused, but there's some of it.
Yeah. It was just an it's like not our fault. So it's just, a massive inconvenience at this point. And everyone was okay somehow.
She gets a rental. Well, I mean, it's the other person's
We got
fault.
a rental, yeah. So like everything's all good, but it's just like it's December. There's a million things going on right now. We don't want to deal with this.
What kind of car did she drive?
She has an Elantra. We had snow tires on, so everything was all good on there. It's just like, come on, like massive headache. But I guess the real tragedy was the airbag actually burnt my North Face fleece.
Oh my God, jeez.
So now I have to claim that as well. So not only did my fleece get ruined, but the car did as well. So
Evan,
not everybody was free that day. I lost my North Face fleece.
I actually felt bad for him for a bit there.
I really did as well. I was like, this poor guy.
Well, at first I just thought it was coffee because Catherine, of course, was taking a sip of her coffee when we got rear-ended. So it looked like a mudslide.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was like a coffee stain until I looked closely and it was burnt.
Welcome to the Winged Wheel podcast.
Hold on.
Yeah?
Ryan, this is a big moment for you.
Yeah.
Evan just spent the entire opening of this podcast talking about a car wreck while the Red Wings are currently getting blown up by LA. What have you got, son?
Car crash. Kill Lily and James Potter. A car crash. That's the only thing I can got.
Yeah, so this weekend has not been great.
I mean, it's been kind of fun for Red Wings fans. Not right now. As we're recording, there's 10 minutes left in the third period of the LA-Detroit game, which they were losing 4-0. So, you know, a more clever person will have a funnier segue here. Car crash. Welcome to the Winged Wheel podcast. I'm Ryan Hanna.
I'm disappointed.
I'm a burnt North Face fleece.
You are a burnt North Face fleece.
I'm rattled.
When people ask me to describe you guys, I always describe you, Evan, as a burnt North Face fleece.
You should. It was my favorite. I just got it down in Florida.
Who buys a North Face fleece in Florida?
I had to wear it there. It was 15 degrees.
Jeez.
I fit in with the locals who had to wear their Canada Goose jackets because it never gets that cold down there.
15 Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius. May as well have been 15 Fahrenheit.
Can we call Evan a snowbird when he retires to Florida at 34?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm already thinking about it.
He's already there. And Filip Zadina, goal.
Oh!
Yeah.
Maybe the world isn't ending.
Yeah, so while I capture this and put it on Twitter, who wants to take us away here?
What has happened in the past? When did we last record? Wednesday?
Wednesday, and the Red Wings won 2 games in a row, which is kind of hard to believe. This is Zadina's goal. Yeah, it is absolutely just a bouncing puck in front, and he put it in. So that's Zadina's second goal in 3 games, which is very exciting. So
he's got more points this season than Jesperi Kotkaniemi for whatever that's worth.
Certainly does. As I was putting that tweet together, I was just so smug, and I knew the shitstorm it would start, and I had no apologies about it.
Oh, I had a tweet that had that, but we'll talk about that later. It's going to be its own subject. Yeah,
I need you to take this away here.
Okay, so let's start with the Winnipeg game. A game the Red Wings won, and I'll be damned, actually deserved to win.
Yeah, Winnipeg was bad.
Yeah, and Detroit was good. Without Mantha that game, Larkin playing sick, no Athanasiou. Filip Zadina, 3-point night. So what was the date that day? December 12th, the day Filip Zadina arrived.
Was that the Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, December 12th.
Yeah, Filip Hronek, 3-point night, who fired a missile more impressive than anything North Korea has delivered. And Darren Helm actually finished on a breakaway. And it was 5-2. It was the night of everything going right.
We've now been banned.
From what? Oh,
North
yeah,
Korea.
from r/Pyong, whatever it is.
Pyongyang.
Yeah.
It's fine. I've probably already banned.
The whole weekend would have been worth it if just Zadina had scored. Like, this game is now only worth it because Zadina scored. But those 2 games, it was just nice. It was nice to not lose a couple times.
I didn't know what to do with my hands.
The Winnipeg game was nice. I'm happy the Red Wings won the Montreal game, but in no reality was any part of that game good outside of Jonathan Bernier.
Oh, man. He made how many saves? I didn't watch a ton of it.
43?
Yeah, Montreal outshot Detroit by at least double, I'm pretty sure. Several 10-bell chances. Bernier pulled at least one off the line. Larkin had a nice steal, stole the puck from Evan behind the net, and fed Bertuzzi in front for a goal. Mike Green got one on the power play off a nice feed from Athanasiou.
And you know what? He picked his spot well.
Yep. And the Red Wings won 2-1. Although, I sent out a tweet, and you ever, I know you get this a lot. You ever send out a tweet with an opinion in it, and you get enough backlash that you start to think, maybe I was wrong here?
Mm-hmm.
Your Principal Skinner?
Yeah. Is it? So I'm going to ask your guys' opinion, and I want you to try and change my mind if you do disagree with me, because I still haven't changed my mind, but I got enough blowback on it that I think it's worth talking about. So there was a moment, Detroit got a power play with roughly 3 minutes left in the game. Okay, I think it was just over 3 minutes. Obviously, they were up 2-0 at the time, and we know Detroit's track record of, holding on to late leads.
We have leads?
Yes.
It's rare, but it's not great when we have them. So, towards the second half of that power play, instead of deploying Filip Zadina in his normal spot on the power play, Jeff Blashill threw out Patrick Nemeth. Basically phoning in the power play, but having the two defensemen out there to basically play prevent defense while on the power play. Essentially, the football equivalent of killing the clock. Like, we don't care if we score here, but we're going to run 2 minutes off of this with no chance of Montreal scoring.
Yeah.
Now, initially, everything in my head went, well, this is stupid because you know what's better than a 2-goal lead? A 3-goal lead.
Yes.
So I looked up some numbers. Since Filip Zadina has been called up, Detroit's power play has been operating at about a 25% clip, and they've given up, I think, less than 4% of their power plays, they've given up a shorthanded goal. So math here dictates that they definitely should have gone for it, but they did kill the clock down.
Sweet Lord.
Yeah. They did kill the clock down to like a minute something left. Montreal did score and then subsequently almost tied it after, but maybe they didn't tie it because they didn't have enough time.
Did Montreal have their shorty by that point? I think it was Tatar scored a shorthanded goal against them.
It wasn't a shorthanded goal, but he scored late in the game.
Okay. I thought it was.
No, it was 2-0 when this happened.
Okay.
So I thought it was a ridiculous move to basically kill the clock instead of going for the goal. Not that Detroit wasn't actively trying to score, but with Nemeth on the ice versus Filip Zadina, you severely downgraded your chances of that happening.
Yeah. Here's where I'm at with it. You can very easily see Jeff Blashill's reasoning there. That's the closest they've sniffed to like a win in a while, besides obviously
streak,
Thursday. Yeah. And so he wanted to lock down the win. But then it's just that, philosophical thing. What is a win in a season full of losses? You might as well, if you're going to win, you might as well do it the right way. Keep Zadina out there. He's been like the only bright spot on offense for the past 10 games or whatever. Not that's an exaggeration, but still, he's the story of the weekend.
You could argue he's been the only consistent offensive threat.
I mean,
at least for the last week.
Yeah.
Fabry as well.
Yes. Yeah, no, see, it's a dumb statement for me, but you understand what Zadina is the most important player on the ice for the Red Wings for different reasons other than just like objectively how he does in the hockey game.
It doesn't hurt to put him in a high important moment of the game as a young player in a season that doesn't matter.
Everything that Blashill gets chastised or criticized for, whether you think it's fair or not, putting Zadina out there and then maybe it doesn't go their way and they score a shorthanded goal against him, nobody's going to say Blashill shouldn't have had Zadina out there. I agree with you. It's a really soft move putting Nemeth out there.
I called it a coward move.
He loves those soft moves, though.
Yeah.
He loves putting out the veterans and just hoping that they somehow miraculously do the right thing.
This is, to me, the perfect example, the shining example of Jeff Blashill's mentality of playing to not lose instead of playing to win.
That's essentially his mantra.
Yeah, I hate that. It's so stupid.
This isn't surprising, and I'm not even going to necessarily fault him for it, given the roster he's been dealt, because obviously Barry Trotz isn't getting this team to win games. But, man, go down swinging. You are in dead last in the NHL. I'm not even going to use the argument of you put Zadina out there because it's good for Zadina's development to be out in important situations. But, man, your team is like the worst team in the league since you've come into the NHL at blowing leads. Get a bigger lead and you're less likely to blow it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I wasn't a big fan of that move. I can understand why people would argue it, but like in the grand scheme of this whole season, man, just put him out there.
What does everybody always say? They say put out your best players.
Yeah.
And Filip Zadina is easily one of those.
This is the hockey equivalent of punting from the 40.
Yeah, that's what it was. And you're just like, I get it, but just come on.
It's like on like a 4th and 3 from the 40.
So a couple episodes ago, because I still have my beard right now, and before anyone just tries to crucify me, give me a minute here. We joked and said I'm not gonna shave, or like I trim my beard like twice a week.
That was a joke.
And I said,
"This was a joke."
No. And I said like I'm not gonna like trim my beard up until the Red Wings win by 3 goals. And then we realized as the losing streak went on, like this might not happen because their first 3-goal lead was on Thursday when they won by 3 goals. Like, it was that game, their first 3-goal lead all season. So it actually ended much sooner than I thought it would. It could have gone way worse for me. And then everyone's like, you got to do it now. You got to shave, sucker. I was like, yeah, but I wanted to. My face hurt. Like, my face was itchy. Like, yeah, I'm happy I get to. Yeah, I don't think you guys understand the direction this was going. Everyone's like, pull out the Clippers, live stream it. I'm like, I will, if you want me to, I will. But
I won't watch. I promise you.
Super weird, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
very
guess if you wanted
strange.
to. No nipples on live streams, though.
Really?
Of course not. You can only show up to like 99%.
I gotta put a couple like runner's band-aids on there.
Yeah. Let's call it art.
You know, a little bit of
Just tape bananas to your nipples.
for scale or
For art, buddy.
Another aside here. This is our last episode in Brad's basement.
Oh, thank God.
And we, the pod loft, as we're affectionately referring to it as, I found out that name came from another podcast that Mel listens to. They have a similar situation where it's like a room in a house in all like on the upper level, so they call it the pod loft. Or no, it's an actual loft in like a condo.
That's weird.
Well,
Yeah.
we gotta think of a better name for it now.
I think it's gonna stick, honestly. Mel keeps saying it, and I'm like, oh, it's her house, so.
It's
The
her
Pod
house.
Palace.
Well, what's it's got to be like hockey themed, doesn't it?
Pod.
Center ice.
No, well, we'll think of something.
Yeah, the trapezoid.
Stupid. I mean, it is kind of trapezoidal. Oh my
you
god.
said it had a weird shape, buddy.
Yeah,
That's
it
why
is.
I'm thinking of it.
Regardless, so the noises you hear upstairs are Mika just not giving a damn about noise anymore. She's just dragging furniture across the floor. Yeah, we're gonna be in there on Wednesday. It's not gonna be fully decorated. That's gonna come slowly over time. Yeah, so the Red Wings won on Thursday by 3 goals, and that was part of the stipulation. My mom actually texted me. She said, I heard you have to shave now. I was like, oh my God, my brother told her. And then they beat Montreal, and now they are going to lose tonight to the Kings in all likelihood, unless they mount to, excuse me, a miraculous comeback.
They are the kings of dropping the toilet bowls.
Well, you know what? For fans of the tank, which should be literally every Red Wings fan who's had the misfortune of watching a game this season, this is about as good of a weekend you could have asked for.
Couple wins to break a horrid streak, a loss that includes a Filip Zadina goal. And if it isn't the most, like, if you had to summarize 3 of the most polarizing names in Red Wings hockey this season, those were the factors on the 3 goals, on the goal from Zadina, because it was assisted by Anthony Mantha and Madison Bowie.
Yeah. Well, nobody's on the wrong side of Mantha, though, right? Like,
No, there's some people who still think his effort is lacking.
oh man, I think his efforts, well, at least pre-injury, he's barely been back now, has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Relative to what he's done in the
He
past.
still leads the team in goals, and he hasn't played in, 3 weeks?
Yeah, he's second on the team in points.
Maybe, I don't know, that point might have gone him back.
Who's third? Jonathan Bernier? Yeah. He got an assist, right?
He's got 2 assists.
Oh, didn't he get an assist just recently?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Anyways.
He should have in the Montreal game.
So after this game, the Red Wings will have 4 points. Will be 4 points back from the next highest, or New Jersey, who's 30th in the standings. And in addition to that, they'll have 3 games played more than them. So really firmly, despite the 2 wins, still in the driver's seat for the lottery division. Really just a great overall weekend for the tank.
Yes.
Did you listen to the most recent Steve Dangle podcast?
I have not yet.
Adam brought us up.
Uh-oh.
And he was like, oh man, Madison Bowie scored.
Are you kidding?
No, that's what Rowan just messaged me.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? What?
Don't justify the stupid things I've said in the past,
No,
Madison.
No.
Don't.
You don't get to.
No, he doesn't. He's
Bowie
lost
scores with 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
He's lost the right. By the way, also, RIP my mentions after a Bowie goal. I'm not even going to read them.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell people to go tweet at you. Oh, it took a couple deflections off an LA player. Yeah.
He's like 8th on the team in scoring.
Brad, when a defenseman no, we're not doing this.
It's funny.
When a defenseman's
It's
supposed to
sad.
be playing defense and then all he does is try playing offense.
How far away from like the legitimate is Madison Bowie an upgrade at fourth line right wing over Justin Abdelkader?
We haven't seen him there. I genuinely think people often overrate when defensemen play.
Not everybody is Brent Burns.
No.
Or Brendan Smith.
No. Even Brendan Smith. Like, I think he's hot and cold.
Yes. That's all I got.
I need someone else to take over for me while I make this gif of Madison Bowie scoring.
Well, that's a very selfish thing of you to do right now.
Yeah, well, you have to boost your Evan Lob speaker.
Hey, I hit 2,000, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Ding, 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 ding.
Guys, it's not even... We have half a month left, and we hit all of our Twitter goals. We hit 3,500 with the podcast account. Brad and I hit 3,000, and Evan hit 2,000.
I don't want to say I'm a social media influencer. That's for everyone else to decide.
I mean, you don't have a
But
check.
if you want to if you want to get slim and trim like me, you can buy some Protein World. No free ads.
use code I totaled my car for 10% more on your order.
Yeah. Thank you, TD Insurance.
Well, yeah, no free ads, and there you are trying to, solicit your insurance adjuster.
That's not even me. That's Catherine. I have nothing to do with this. Just my fleece is on the line.
Oh, freaking fleece! I'm sorry to keep talking about it.
But so she told the guy at TD on the phone, and he was just like, "Oh," he's like, "We'll definitely get that in. That's property loss." I was like, "Woo, let's go."
Oh, did you get your winters?
Oh, they comp your winter tires too. Like if they're broken or the rims are broken, yeah, they throw that on as well.
Just be like, we couldn't find one of them. It just kept rolling down the road.
My Gucci flip-flops went flying, and we just couldn't find them in the river. So if you could throw those on as well, that'd be great.
No, they'd be like, "Oh, sorry, we're actually fining you $500 for owning Gucci flip-flops."
Yeah, they should.
So the Red Wings won against the Jets, won against the Canadians. Unless something crazy happens, they're about to lose to the Kings. And then they got Columbus on Tuesday before we speak again. So yeah, the lottery's going great. Yeah, Adam brought us up, and he was like, "Those guys just sound sad." He's like, "You got to just enjoy the tank." And it's like, you know what? I listened. I was like, you know what? I like that reminder because we are preaching to people to enjoy the tank, but I think we're wearing a lot of these losses in our hearts. So this was a good weekend for us.
You know how hard it is to lose 12 games in a row?
Okay, if anyone does know, it's Leafs fans.
I forget what it was. The one of the games Detroit was getting pumped, and I know that doesn't narrow it down, but I just posted that after whoever scored against the Red Wings, I just posted the David Tennant looking sad in the rain gif, and Steve was the first one to comment on it, just saying, "Don't worry, buddy, you'll get through it." Just like that good friend being supportive there.
Yeah.
Because he's been through it. They know what it's like, and look at their Austin Matthews now.
If we can get an Austin Matthews out of it, that'd be sweet.
Were they an 18.5% chance team though?
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah, it was I think it was the same system.
Oh, please God.
But no, they came in lower. They weren't the highest probability.
No, they were dead last when they got Matthews.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Wasn't it? Was it Marner? No, they didn't. No,
Marner they got at 4th. Nylander they got at 8th.
Yeah, Marner they got at 4th. Marner fell to them at 4th.
Riley they got at 5th.
Was Riley that high?
Yeah.
So we're now firmly in Lafreniere, Byfield, Raymond.
I hate that there's in my mind a clear-cut top 3. You have no idea how much that bothers me. Oh, yeah. You have to win one of the lottery balls just to get one of those 3 unless someone goes off the board and lets one of them fall, which isn't going to happen.
Tampa Bay Lightning with the first overall pick.
It's possible right now. Is it not possible right now that Tampa, Toronto, and Montreal could all get lottery picks?
I think Montreal's ahead of
Stop that.
Ahead of those 2 teams right now.
So 2015, 2016 would have been the year. And yeah, you're right. Toronto was dead last. Yeah. Edmonton was second last. That's what it was. I remember people were scared that they were going to get Austin
They
Matthews
picked
as well.
4th and picked Pool Party.
Yeah.
Fun draft.
Yeah. So the Red Wings we're firmly in the territory that we need to be to kind of hope for the best for prospects. I'm glad those 2 wins happened because I kind of was going to start looking for Steve Yzerman's number and saying, "Hey, Stevie, whether we're last by 1 point or by 100 points, we're gonna have the same probability. So maybe let's try to ramp this up a little bit."
Needed some reprieve from 12 straight losses.
Do you think Jeff Blashill's relieved?
You know what? I don't even know. Probably. I would. Winning equals good for a coach's tenure.
It is. I mean, that's a very simple answer there, but if you try to think of the offline conversations that have happened between Blashill and Yzerman, where Yzerman came in and said, "Hey, I know you've been dealt a shit hand. Here's what I need from you for you to be on board. You tell me if you're in or not. If you're not, that's fine." And, Blashill says, "Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to one day having a team with good players on it. And, you know,
I don't know.
I mean, that's the tinfoil hat theory.
It's so hard to say because he's in such a uniquely bad situation. The fact that he lasted through a 12-game losing streak says a lot.
Yeah, you know, the fact that he's lasted through the whole start to the season and now a 12-game losing streak, he is not going anywhere this year.
There's been, 5 coaches fired, 6 coaches fired this season, and he's still here? That means he's still here until the end of the year.
He's not moving. And you know what? Like, who's the best coach out there right now? Peter DeBoer?
That's available?
That's like in the circle. Like if
Jim
you're looking,
Montgomery?
Well, I mean, do you really hire a guy who committed material acts of unprofessionalism?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in good positions and jobs who have.
That was more of a commentary on the fact that we still don't know. I don't know how we don't.
Jim Montgomery got fired for not putting winners on his car.
Jim Montgomery.
Well, he should be driving a better car than a Chevy Malibu. No free ads.
That actually is a really good one. Doesn't put winners on his car. Jim Montgomery. Let me see. What's another crazy one that he would do? Jim Montgomery makes poutine with shredded cheese instead of cheese curds.
Jim Montgomery eats his cereal dry.
Yeah.
I eat my cereal dry.
There we go. That's the one.
Dude, I hate soggy cereal. It is disgusting.
Just eat it in time.
I can't. I want to sit
What are you,
there and
Crystal, putting 10 gallons of milk for 2 pieces of Fruit Loops?
No, I just don't do it. I'll have a glass of milk in my cereal, but I just hate mushy cereal.
For those of you who are wondering why this episode is just so wily and all over the place, it's like 9:30 at night right now. It's been a crazy weekend with all the holiday stuff. I think I've driven 700 miles today. This is the best we can do right now.
I'm trying to keep up with 2 games on my phone right now.
I
as I'm
knew
talking.
you were looking at the Bills game.
Yeah, it's not going well.
Good. That's what you get. So the Red Wings have the Blue Jackets and then a 3-day break before Toronto on the weekend.
Woo.
Is Toronto relieved that they are not going to be the ones to possibly end Detroit's losing streak?
No, they probably wanted that opportunity, if we're being honest.
Really? Why would they want that opportunity? Because they definitely would have choked, and that would have gone terribly. They would have had to have fired Chief Keef. Someone posted on our subreddit, actually, and said, what's with this whole Chief Keef thing? Don't worry, it's just us being stupid. I don't even notice anymore that I don't call him Sheldon Keefe. I've accidentally called him Chief Keef since we made the joke the first time.
I thought the whole internet was doing that.
Hey, we are, but we've said it so much we've not said Sheldon Keefe.
Has anybody started producing the Keefe's briefs yet? Or
Yeah, I think
Are
so.
they waiting on me still?
They'll be waiting a while.
Because I'm not doing it.
Let's do a little standings update. So,
No.
yeah, Washington's leading the Metro with Islanders and Carolina behind them. Second place in the Atlantic right now would get you outside of a playoff spot. Otherwise, it would be you would be outside. You would be outside of a wild card spot.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So
second wild card is better than second in the Atlantic.
Yes. So Buffalo's second. Buffalo is second in the Atlantic right now. Montreal is behind them, and then Toronto is not too far back. Neither is Tampa Bay or Florida. Ottawa and Detroit are firmly out of the hunt, very obviously. League overall standings, let's do some lottery division standings. Bottom 5 are Ottawa, Chicago, LA, New Jersey, and Detroit. Detroit with 21 points and 35 games played, actually, after tonight's loss. New Jersey, 25 points and 32 games played. And LA has, I think, 31 points now. So Detroit has a pretty firm grasp on those sweepstakes. You guys want to do a tankathon? Why not? Let's get crazy
do a
tonight.
tankathon.
I'm doing one as well.
All right, you guys pull that up. I'll do mine. I'm going to sim it once. We're going to do a mock draft style, sim the lottery, and oh no.
What did you do?
Toronto wins the draft lottery.
I honestly
Get
will not.
out of here.
I won't watch hockey for this.
Alexi
for 3
Lafreniere,
years.
Quentin Byfield to Columbus. LA gets Lucas Raymond, and then that's at third, presumably, and then Detroit would draft fourth, at which point I think Eisenman would just get out there and stick up both middle fingers to the entire crowd.
Mine's not much better.
Who won yours?
Anaheim, Toronto, New Jersey.
Oh, no.
New Jersey, they've had enough.
No.
Are we the Oilers now? That's what they're saying.
They have a Taylor Hall. If they trade him, they lose their right to pick first overall.
Did you do yours, Brad?
No, I'm going to do it now. So I'm our saving grace.
Yeah.
Well, mine's better, but still sucks.
Where did they draft?
Detroit?
Yeah.
4th.
Oh, God.
But it's Ottawa, Columbus, Ottawa.
Okay.
Oh, that's unreal for Ottawa.
Pick 3 teams where under no circumstance can they win the draft lottery.
Toronto, and Toronto.
Toronto, Chicago,
Tampa.
New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, New Jersey. It's tough. Tampa absolutely does not deserve it, and they should be embarrassed where they are in the standings right now.
Who's that team on the cusp of being good that's actually pretty good, but will probably just miss the playoffs and bounce up like when Carolina got Svechnikov? Who's going to be that team this year?
Chicago.
Florida?
Oh, that'd be bad.
I feel like Florida will be the Carolina this year. They'll like miss the playoffs by like 2 points and then win.
It could be anybody in the Atlantic, really.
Florida's a good team, right? Like, you don't have that amount of talent, and then the Atlantic's just funny, right?
The only team that I'm certain will make the playoffs is Boston right now.
Yeah.
You can see Buffalo go on a real slide, and they could very well be in the lottery mix again.
I think I can still say pretty confidently Tampa will make the playoffs just because of how many games they have in hand.
Yeah. And you know what? The Tampa's a notoriously weird team. They go on these weird streaks, but they always seem to pull it together when they need to.
Well, Columbus begs to differ, but
the Red Wings Rally Cat actually, I just realized, lost for the first time. Yeah, on the subreddit, there's I can't remember the.
It was a short time, but a good time.
I can't read that subreddit anymore. The takes on there are just, anyways. So, has Taylor Hall been traded yet?
No, Taylor Hall has not been traded yet.
Tell me if you ever heard this before. Coyotes are the front runner for insert player name here.
Yeah, if it's anybody over a third liner, yeah, this is a first.
Who are they going to give up? Because they don't want to give up Soderstrom, right?
I think there was someone named Ball.
Kevin Ball
was one of their prospects, and that was like who they were kind of debating over.
They would probably have to throw in a first-round pick with him.
You have to understand that this is not a guaranteed. Like, we don't know the conditions. If it's a trade and then with an understanding of an extension the moment he gets traded, then that's one thing. But as of right now, we don't have that information, so we have to assume you're trading for a rental Taylor Hall, who could leave. Will Taylor Hall want to live in the desert? I mean, he lived in Edmonton, so
yeah. After
one's a hot desert and one's a cold desert.
Yeah.
After the media attention he's received over the course of his career, I think a little anonymity would do him good.
I think that's a guy who wants to go and play playoff hockey. I think that's all he cares about.
Hey, and Arizona's a good bet for that right now.
They're a good bet for that right now. Does he have belief that they'll do that long term? Because they certainly don't have that pedigree.
I think they're trending in the right direction. They have a lot of very interesting pieces, and they're getting really good goaltending right now.
And that's why Hall to Arizona could be so interesting, because Arizona has 2 starting caliber goaltenders. New Jersey has 0.
They have negative. They actually owe the league starting goalies.
The other destinations for Taylor Hall, Colorado, I think fell through.
Nah, not yet. Like, this is one of those things nobody knows anything. They're just guessing. If I saw one more tweet, I forget who it was. Someone tweeted and it blew up. Nothing's imminent on Taylor Hall, but trades are like really picking up. It may happen in the next 24 hours. It may not. And like, he was serious about it. And then the entirety of the internet parodied that tweet by saying, hey, Taylor Hall may be traded in 5 minutes. He also might not be. More at 11. It was... I hate this because obviously New Jersey keeping Taylor Hall out of the lineup means, yeah, they're working hard to get him gone.
For sure.
But it doesn't mean that it's gonna happen right here to this team, X team, Y team. Do you think anybody actually knows who's contacting? It's all speculation saying, well, this team, this team, this team, and this team makes sense. So if we can look at it and go, yeah, it makes sense for Dallas or Colorado or Arizona to trade for Taylor Hall. Do you know who else is going to understand that it makes sense for them to trade for Taylor Hall? Dallas, Arizona, or Colorado. It's all nonsense.
And them pushing out to say, the Coyotes are a front-running team and it's just coming down to prospects. That's another way for them to generate some urgency from other teams that kind of balk at that and be like, oh, okay, we got to get in on this. And we'll throw in this prospect, and it kind of creates this knee-jerk reaction, and they hope they can catch a team sleeping on their prospects or who's going to be involved in that trade.
Yeah, Evan's exactly right. Do you know who leaked the information about Arizona being the front runner?
Probably Arizona.
New Jersey.
Oh, well, that as well.
You know, I love and appreciate the big names, the Bob McKenzies and the Elliot Friedmans and all of them who are always kind of reputable and usually the first to the punch, like LeBron. They're genuine insiders. It's not like a guy who got a tip one time and then all of a sudden he's people are turning to him, and sometimes they're like, oh, I don't know, but here's something that I've heard. They might drum something up, or they might like actually just not know. Or, 1 in 10 times they'll be right, but the rest of their takes are just like, Josh Ho-Sang should be, captain of the Islanders right now, or just weird crap like that. Like,
Is that a shot at us?
quite possibly. When you don't know if you're insulting yourself. But those guys are genuine insiders. But there's times where you see this information come out how you guys have described, like just a lot of nothingness, and you're like, this isn't for us, right? Like, this is all part of the game. Like, this is people carrying water. This is people saying, hey, thank you for all the access you've given me on other stories. Here's me doing you a favor by leaking this story or pushing this narrative to help you drive this price or that kind of thing.
Also, people will just throw anything at the wall for clicks and
Oh, for
likes
sure.
and interaction as well. That's part of the game.
It makes me feel, all of this makes me feel dumber and dumber for us not breaking the Yzerman news when we could have.
Yeah, we could have been wrong. We thought, we had it. Like, we had it before everybody else, and we're like, no, we can't post it because if it doesn't come to fruition, it ruins our reputation. Nobody will ever listen to us again. Apparently, that's not true.
We should just start doing it. It's been a while since we made up a trade rumor. Do you have one on the go, Brad?
Give me 2 teams.
Colorado, New Jersey.
Damn, I almost could have done Kerfoot for Will Butcher, but they traded Kerfoot. Okay, Arizona, New Jersey. I got one.
Colorado, New Jersey.
Colorado.
You want to do Arizona? You can do Arizona. I don't care.
Arizona, New Jersey?
Sure.
All right. Jacob Chikrin for
Taylor.
Miles Wood.
Why would Arizona do that?
Because I'm just making up bullshit, Ryan.
You imagine they're like, trade announcement between New Jersey and Phoenix, and everyone's like, oh, or Arizona. Everyone gets all horned up. Oh yeah, it's Jacob Chikrin and Miles Wood.
If
1 for 1.
If trade was 1 for 1.
If there's any teams in the NHL that actually do that, so let's say Arizona and New Jersey agreed on a Taylor Hall deal, but like 12 hours before they announced it, they just swapped like minor leaguers, so everybody saw New Jersey, Arizona have made a trade. It's, minor leaguer A for minor leaguer B, and everybody's like, ah, and then like when New Jersey Arizona trade pops up in their feed, like 12 hours later, they're just like, oh, it's just the AHL trade. Wait, Taylor Hall for who?
Yeah, they just need
Those would instantly become my next 2 favorite teams in the league.
They need to lead with the prospects and the picks being traded, and then the all-star players.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, they just add 2 minor leaguers to that trade as well, just to put them in the lead.
With parting pieces, Taylor Hall and Jacob Chikrin.
I said the trade is 1 for 1, and that reminded me of Robbie Fabry. So there's one thing I want to talk about. We're getting more and more of these questions. So a very early analysis, if we may.
We have the attention span of goldfish on this podcast.
Well, for this episode, like, what else has happened, right? The Red Wings won a couple times. We talked about it. Zadina scored. It was amazing.
Okay, let's do some fun. Let's finish the Taylor Hall conversation.
Okay, yeah, you do that.
Where's he end up? Make your prediction. Guess, Ryan. Your entire reputation is
Arizona.
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, I like
They're
it.
hot right now without their 3 centers.
I have no idea who they'd
If
have to
anything,
give up for,
that's
but-
a stroke of confidence for a GM. When
Who's
you see
Jim Rutherford going to give up anymore?
Yeah, I don't even know what they have.
We have a first-round pick in 20 years. We'll give to you.
We'll give you, I don't know, retroactively give you some of Malcolm's goals. We don't need them all. Something like that.
You ready for this? My made-up trade on the spot?
Yeah.
Taylor Hall is going to be traded straight up for a pick and Jordan Kyrou. He's going to St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah, I can dig that. Do you think he's traded with any understanding or any agreement for an extension, or do you think it's a pure rental and they have to see in the offseason?
Well, the last bit of news from the insiders was that teams have not yet been given right to negotiate with Hall. So as of now, it's going to be a rental. And if New Jersey doesn't give teams right, they're holding him out of games, so they're actively trying to trade him. If they don't give the other teams right to negotiate, they're dumb, because maximize your value. You ain't keeping him.
I imagine it'll come soon. I think they're just trying to see what they can get first before they open up that door.
Yeah.
Or they might have a pretty firm understanding from Hall's camp to say, I will sign with these teams.
I can't wait till this news breaks like 30 minutes after we post this episode.
Oh, of course. Because after last episode was It Gets Worse, and then Zadina had 3 points. Hronek scored the nicest empty net goal of all time.
Yeah.
From behind his own net, fired it into the stratosphere, and it came down and never touched the ice.
Yes.
He literally shot that from the next county over.
Just to clarify, there was supposed to be a question mark at the end of that episode. It gets worse?
Was there? Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That was
Wait,
a joke.
thank you
that
for
was,
trying to
that was a
salvage it.
joke.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for who I am, Evan.
I know.
And just to show you how nice that Hronik goal was, that was a vastly more popular video than Zadina's goal. Hronik's empty net goal was like 10 times as popular as the Zadina goal.
Yeah, well, that might have been the nicest empty net goal ever scored. That thing, not just your version of it, that thing was making its rounds.
Oh, yeah. It was everywhere. And it was a gorgeous goal. He shot that. I went, that's the best player on the Red Wings right now.
I love it, too, because even when the celebration, he has this look of surprise. Bernier comes out of his net to join the little hugging session, and then you just lip read Filip Hronik going, what happened?
Yeah.
It was amazing. Everything about that entire goal was perfect.
I love that. That was awesome. That was a good way to cap off the game. It was a really cool window into, like, everyone was paying attention to Detroit at that moment, and it was nice to just show them how nice our Filip Hronik is. It's like, hey, not lots is going well for us, but our Filips are good.
Yeah, because you know how much I was dying during the end of that losing streak with the constant stream of jokes? 5 NHL coaches have been fired since the Red Wings' last win.
Yeah, that kept coming.
Yeah, none of them were the Red Wings coach. Anyways.
Yeah, okay. Red Wings RFA is coming up. That's something that... Brad!
That last point irritated me.
What point?
5 NHL coaches being fired.
Anthony Mantha, Andreas Athanasiou, Tyler Bertuzzi, Adam Ernie, Robbie Fabry, Brendan Perlini, Christopher N., Madison Bowie. Those are all the RFAs coming up for the Red Wings.
Okay. What are we doing? Like, is this like a Mary F. Kill type deal?
No.
Or...
All right, I'm gonna go through and you both say yes or no to whether or not we re-sign them. Mantha.
Yes.
Yes.
Athanasiou.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hot take, he's traded. Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adam Ernie.
No.
Yes.
Robbie Fabry.
Yeah.
Wait, we're saying if we want to or we think
They will.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Fabry, yes.
So far, all my answers have lined up with what I think will happen.
Brendan Perlini.
Yes and yes.
Yeah, and I think we'll get him cheap.
Christopher N.
I wouldn't, but I think he will be.
I agree with Brad.
Madison Bowie.
Yeah, and yeah. He's good depth, even if he's bad depth.
Yeah. And he's going to go through waivers and clear every single time, so why not?
What do you offer Tyler Bertuzzi at this point?
4.5.
He will not take $4.5 million.
I think he might have to take 4.5 if he's on a cold streak right now. He might not finish this season over 50, 55 points.
He just got another point tonight.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
He's the Red Wings' leading scorer right now.
That won't last. You know it as well as I do. And everybody knows he's a complimentary player, a great complimentary player. I offer him 4.5. He probably counters at 6. And if you settle somewhere around Franz Nielsen money, I think that's a win for everybody involved. Depending on the term.
Yeah.
Asterisks.
You don't want to end up in another applicator scenario.
No, you don't.
You don't give him 8 years, right?
People have to. Depends what the cap hit comes in. If he wants to come in around $4.5 million, I'll absolutely give him 8 years because he is better than just an applicator ever was. And he's also not, Applicator was 29 when he signed that. Bertuzzi's 24, 25.
So it's a bit different.
It's a bit different. We know we're going to get some good years out of... Because Applicator's contract wouldn't be as horrendous as it is if it ended when he was 33 and we had those 20-goal seasons in that contract. But we didn't get any of that. But yeah, he's a guy I try to keep short term. Same with Athanasiou. I don't think I'd want to go more than 5 years on either of them, given the option.
Robbie Fabry.
Yeah, I would sign him, and I would probably give him 3 point something on a midterm level contract, so 3-ish years.
Let's say he finishes the season with 60 points.
He's not going to finish the season with 60
points. Let's say he
points.
does, though. Let's say he finishes with 60 points.
4x4?
You think he'd sign that?
No.
After the way his career's gone, and he's basically been on league minimums for a bit, yeah, or close to, yeah, I could see him considering it.
If Fabry outscores Bertuzzi, does Fabry have to have a bigger contract than Bertuzzi?
No, because Bertuzzi's got another season under his belt of doing this more recently than Fabry does.
Okay. I'm not questioning any of these decisions. I just kind of want to start exploring that subject because it's...
I think from a production standpoint, if we're looking at the long term of both Fabry and Bertuzzi, I think they'll be close.
Yeah.
I think Bertuzzi fills a role that Fabry can't. I have a little more faith in Fabry creating offense when he's away from Stars versus Bertuzzi. But yeah, from a production standpoint, they'll be pretty close. It's just Bertuzzi has a better track record right now. He's been more consistent because right now we can't put any faith in Robbie Fabry's knee.
One last point before we head into overtime. I'm just so excited for the World Juniors. It's just going to be so nice to watch Red Wings prospects and prospects that we can actually be excited about in the draft.
I think someone had a really cool tweet or point wherever I saw it that if every Red Wing that's on, that looks like they're projected to be on the team right now actually is on the team, there will not be a game played in these World Juniors that doesn't involve a Red Wing.
That's amazing. I love that.
Is there 2 teams that get promoted or just one?
Promoted relegated?
I think it's just
It's Germany, right, this year?
Germany's up this year, so Cider will be in the tournament.
So no one else. So they only do 1 up, 1 down.
I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that.
I honestly do not remember. I think it's 2.
I was gonna say, who do we have on Kazakhstan?
No, but if there's probably a team or 2 in the tournament that we don't
There are,
have, but
we don't have
they'll be
players
playing.
from
They
every team.
can't play. They're in different divisions, so they can't play each other. So
Yeah.
a Red Wing will be in every game.
I mean, they have Askarov.
Because we have Canada, the U.S., Finland, Sweden, Germany,
Yeah.
all with Red Wings on it. So that's 5. That's a good amount. So there might be a couple games where there's no Red Wing, but like most of them there will be.
We're going to get into overtime, which for this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast is brought to you by Motor City Garages. They're a family-owned and operated business servicing Metro Detroit. They do garage flooring, cabinets, overhead racks, wall storage, and everything to do with your car. Enough of the messy garages everyone is sick of walking through. It's time to turn it into something useful. Whether you like to work on your car or if you'd like an organized space, we have you covered. 3D designs, a lifetime warranty, and helping all of your Filips fill those nets. Motor City Garages, park in style. We're going to head over to Patreon. We have a few comments there. Haroon Khan says, "Hey guys, I don't know if you listen to Steve Dangle's podcast. Yeah, he's a friend. But he had one segment which gave me a lot of relief being a Red Wings fan. Oh, and he mentioned you guys too. This podcast is definitely growing fast. I randomly overheard 2 dudes at my university talking about you guys as well. Yeah, that's exciting. Casual conversation. We've made it there. Anyway, so do you think Zadina is going to stay up for the year because our second power play unit looks so much better?"
We didn't even talk about the contract.
Oh my God, we didn't do it. How did we not talk? Well, this is our topic now.
Okay, yeah, what I was gonna say, it was one of our we're like, what did we talk about before the episode? I don't know. There were some games and Taylor Hall stuff. Oh, and Zadina played his 10th game.
It was literally the main point. Yeah.
And okay, anyways, Filip Zadina is likely going to stay up for a good amount of the season because they just burned his ELC, so games played no longer matters towards anything with Filip Zadina. The contract this year of his ELC is now burned.
So for those of you who are wondering, the Red Wings slid his ELC with his entry-level contract, which means they pretty much put off starting it for a year. It's a 3-year contract last season. This season, because of his age, when he signed his entry-level contract, they had the option of doing that again. The way you do that is by not playing them for more than 9 games, which is why we only saw Zadina for 9 games last season. This season, they have, as of this LA game, which Zadina scored in, that was his 10th game, which means his entry-level contract has now kicked in. Merits to sliding it, you can put off having to pay those players, and you have a talented player at very cheap, which helps you build a contending roster. That's for a team that's going to contend.
And gives you a longer window to evaluate said player and hand out next contract with a little more certainty.
Merits to burning it sooner, you can get them on their next post RFA or post entry level contract sooner in their career, which means they might not have developed as much, because now with the last couple of years, the RFA market is different. Restricted free agents can now make a lot more money. That's how the market's been set. So if you have Zadina at, 50% of his potential at age 20, whatever, signing his first RFA contract, it'll be much cheaper than if you have to sign him a year later, where all of a sudden he potted 40 goals and 30 assists, and that's a much more significant contract. So that's the merits. I think we were all in favor of burning that ELC year, so that's super huge. Doesn't mean he's gonna not stay up or not go back down. He could still be sent back down pretty easily.
The 41 game mark is still a little relevant, because once he goes past that number, he is burning 1 year of UFA eligibility, which means he will get to that number sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So by delaying that, although depending, he's 20 now, so that might not matter because it kicks in at 27. So
Yeah, the rules are very particular, and we have
Yeah.
to go back and dive
So
into it.
assuming he is young enough, which I think he is, and that is relevant because it would be his first official year towards unrestricted free agency. If he plays 39 games and then goes back to Grand Rapids for the playoff run and the stretch run and whatever, then his UFA eligibility gets pushed back a year, which is honestly what I think is going to happen. He'll probably play max games, get sent back, get reacclimated with Grand Rapids for a playoff push.
Also, what's the plan for Abdelkader and Nielsen? I can see Helm being re-signed, but what about DeKaiser? Thanks again, guys. Let's go Red Wings.
DeKaiser's contract lasts forever, so he doesn't matter. Helm's still got time left. And Nielsen and Abdelkader, there is no plan. We just have to suffer through it.
If either of Abdelkader or Nielsen get... a compliance buyout is essentially their best hope right now, but because...
That's not coming.
Because the new CBA got pushed so far down the road, it's not as helpful. If either of them get moved out without a buyout, it'll be a miracle for Yzerman. Christian Milner says, last night I went to the game against the Canadians, and it was an amazing experience seeing that atmosphere, especially compared to how the LCA has been since the team moved there. What are the best arenas you guys have all been to?
Bell Center is one of mine up there. I don't know. I loved everything about Madison Square Garden, except it was a morgue. The fans were pretty dead at the game I was at. Buffalo was pretty good. Fans got drunk enough to keep it entertaining.
Unique answer, the Big House for the Winter Classic. That was wild.
Ralph Wilson Stadium for Pittsburgh. Buffalo's outdoor game was unreal.
I'm so tired of this guy and his Bills.
Dude, that was a hell of a game.
About.
Did I even use the word Bills in there once?
No, you said Buffalo.
I said Buffalo.
You
like
said
a
Ralph Wilson. I know
subconscious
where that stadium is.
It's like subliminal messaging.
Kyle Wasserberger says, hey guys, I've been busy with school, so I haven't been able to comment much, but I want to drop in and say how cool it's been to see this podcast grow over the past couple of years. I remember when the list of name sponsors was only 3 names long, and now it takes Ryan 5 minutes at the end of every episode to read them all. Congrats to you guys. You deserve it with all the work you guys put in, even Evan. That means a lot, man. Thank you. You've been here for a long time, and that means a ton to us. It's so cool for us. So yeah, we really appreciate it. Here's my draft lottery question. When evaluating Lafreniere versus Byfield, how do you balance the concern that Byfield is just dominating because of his physicality with the fact that he's also a whole year younger than Lafreniere? I know we don't want another Lawson Krauss, so I'm curious for your thoughts. Also, the fact that Evan has the most reasonable chocolate preferences is concerning. Orange chocolate is disgusting and mint chocolate is delicious. Keep fighting the good fight, Evan.
I will try my best.
You guys are sleeping on orange chocolate, man.
That was a bad take.
Disgusting.
I like it.
Do you know what else is not good? Dipping your chocolate in mouthwash.
I don't like mint chocolate either.
I love mint chocolate.
I think it's just Ryan who's a sicko.
This whole Byfield maybe just dominating because of his physicality and his size.
He actually has unreal talent.
He is talent. This is what makes scouting hard. You have to notice the intricacies of the game because people are arguing. Like it's a valid argument. Well, look at Lafreniere in the queue this year. He's dummying, but he is a full year older than Byfield. So you have to look at Lafreniere's 17-year-old year in the queue, where he also absolutely dominated. So had he was in last year's draft, he probably would have been the first or second overall pick, either him or Hughes. This isn't coming out of left field. He's not a late bloomer. Same with Byfield. He had a huge rookie year in the OHL. So this second year is no surprise. Again, it's scouting. There's things you have to pick out that players can do that other players cannot. And you have to determine whether it's because of size or this or that or whatever.
I'm pretty quick with a guy who's projected to go in the top 3.
Yeah.
Because you watch them play and they just see things that other players at their compete level. So like at the junior level, they just don't have, or they just don't do. Like you'll see them make a pass or something very small, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Hunter Saunders says, just want to say hi and that Liverpool are top of the league. That's a well-argued and astute point. Also, Zadina showing that two-way game he talked about when we drafted him makes me a happy boy. Lastly, I think Giovanni Smith could be a solid bottom 6 guy for us based on the strides he's taken this year in Grand Rapids and how he looked in Detroit. He's got little flashes of playmaking, such as the setup for Veleno's first the other night, and his skating is improving, that is all. Yeah, you know what? I'm all for if they want to throw Giovanni Smith as that, requisite bottom 6 guy. Yeah, why not?
He can't be worse than any of the 3 players we currently have on the 4th line.
He seems like he has a pulse. So that's key. He seems like he wants to be there. Also a key. So why not?
Grit per 60 is super.
And he is not afraid to drop the gloves, which is a refreshing thing
He'll
in times of need.
He'll chuck the knucks and he'll win most of those.
Yeah, even Mantha drops the gloves and wins most of his fights.
Garrett TV says, Hockey Amigos, apparently Ryan threatening to not shave is exactly what this team needed. What's the next? Ryan doesn't shave until prop bet. Oh, what's our next one? Ryan doesn't shave until...
Abdulkader scores.
Something more fun than that.
That might be the toughest one.
Franz Nielsen scores. How about that?
All right. After I trim my beard, I will not shave again until Franz Nielsen scores a goal.
What if he retires? Then is the bet nullified?
No.
Or do you have to wait till send him a DM like, Franz, I really need you to
Franz,
come
please,
out of
mate.
retirement.
Do me a favor, pal. Okay, yeah, so a Franz Nielsen goal. I propose not shaving until we win 3 straight or until someone gets a hat trick or until John Keating stops saying weird shit. He blocked me on Twitter. I can't see half the stuff he says.
I don't follow him on Twitter, so I wouldn't know.
Thoughts? Also, how many backflips did Brad do when the Letterkenny Season 8 trailer dropped? Thanks for always getting pucks deep. Keep your sticks on the ice and let's go Red Wings.
Several.
You know what? I need to interject.
Yeah.
If we're talking about TV, I've never been hyped for a TV show before until The Witcher. That comes out on Netflix.
Witcher looks so good. Witcher has all Game of Thrones fans who are just like absolutely devastated by that seeming pile of garbage of Season 8.
And I don't think it'll be anything like Game of Thrones, and people will try and compare it to Game of Thrones.
The Witcher's like hardcore.
Oh, yeah. And in the books, a Witcher, especially the main character, is typically supposed to be very unliked. So it'll be very interesting to see this like hero anti-hero thing.
Yeah.
All right, I've never seen any of the trailers. Sell me, Evan.
Do you like Game of Thrones style, like very fantasy, gory?
I can mess around with that.
So basically, the hero is a monster slayer in like medieval setting, we'll say.
So he's old school Constantine. Got it.
Yeah, but he also has like magical properties about him, like he's a mutated human, basically. And he is a bounty hunter who is conceived as not a good person, but he does have some leanings towards a moral objective. So he bounces back and forth, and it's like you don't really know, is he good, is he bad? He does good things, he does bad things, and he smashes a lot of women.
Okay, that sounds. The anti-hero is such a hard line to walk, though.
It is.
Also, the guy who is the main character, he was Superman, Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Cavill?
Oh,
Cavill?
really?
I love Henry Cavill.
And he actually is super into the Witcher video games.
Did he
so
keep
he
the mustache?
No. So yeah, if there's anybody who's gonna try and hit this one out of the park, it's him. So just watch the trailer; it looks really good.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. But Cavill abandoned the mustache, much like Evan.
Joseph Delia says, "Sup, my dudes. So pumped for this episode to hear some positive things. So where do you guys think Hall will end up?" Oh, we already did that one. If the Wings keep playing decent and with Mantha and Athanasiou back, how long do you expect Zadina to stay up? Thank you.
39 games.
Yako Ruta says, do the Canadians and Jets have to fold now? I mean, they lost to the Red Wings, and that team is terrible. Yes, they absolutely do.
I'm so happy that I sent that stupid tweet out in the morning about the Jets having to move back to Atlanta if they lost, because that got a lot of traction after the game. The Atlanta Thrashers parody account found it.
Jeremy Dahl says, great job as always, guys. Look forward to this every week. Makes this painful season a little less painful. Nice to know we're all in on this together. So question for you, being new to hockey for me, first rebuild I've been through. Sorry, man. The Red Wings are so bad and we seem to have almost no assets to trade. Is that just a result of us mortgaging everything we've had to keep the streak alive?
Correct.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, they have assets right now, but not the kind you want the kind you need to hoard, like draft picks and young players. Yeah. The Sens have been bad for a while, but they're constantly trading away franchise players like Stone, Carlson, and Duchesne. We don't really have anything like this, do we? How do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Do we have some of the assets we need, or do we really have to go through a bunch more seasons like this to acquire top 4 picks? Well, 6 overall picks. Yes and no. So, rebuilds, as long as they are, like, the toughest part is genuinely over because the Red Wings are now trending in the right direction. Doesn't mean they're close, but they're no longer signing these brutal contracts or mortgaging futures.
We're doing the right things now. I think we're like 3 or 4 drafts away, unfortunately, from having any sort of team.
Before you see any like big changes, you're not really gonna, or before you see any big changes, like a lot of things need to happen. Detroit could squeak into a wild card spot, but before you see them become like an actual playoff Stanley Cup contending team, a lot has to change.
Yeah, I think one thing that would really help is if one of our picks out of the blue becomes an everyday NHLer, like a third rounder, a fourth rounder, someone we had no expectations for, maybe like a Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah, when was the last time Detroit had one of those?
Filip Zadina in the second.
Is second round out of nowhere though? I feel like that's still considered a premium pick.
Yeah, they haven't had like a Lidstrom or a Datsuk or a Zetterberg in some time.
Well, no,
It doesn't even have to be to that tier. Like, it just could be anybody who fits into the top 9.
Was like Athanasiou legitimately the last one?
What was he drafted?
2011 or 2012 in the 4th or 5th round?
I want to see 4.
Yeah, maybe. Those are the types of picks or development players, prospects that really help your rebuild. And it's nice to get those first rounders to hit, and as they're typically supposed to, but getting those late guys to really come into fruition and maybe exceed what people were thinking of them really helps.
And when you're looking through the Red Wings system right now, all their promising guys were first or second round picks. They really don't have.
Yeah.
From this past draft, there looks like there might be one or two, but it's still way too early. Like Soderblom looks like he might be a player. Graven might be a player, but yeah, when you're looking at the guys who we drafted late and we've now got a couple of years looks at, I don't think any of them are blowing us away.
By start of year 3, you kind of know what you got in a lot of those late picks, and it'd be nice to have one that really pans out. It's
barren at the moment, and that the good news is Detroit's had so many first and second round picks that a lot of them are looking like they're going to pan out, which makes the current situation fine.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Goes on to say, I want to be optimistic and have faith in Stevie, but maybe this is your chance to shed some positivity on this bleak season. Let's go Wings. Let's go Winged Wheel Pod. Thanks again, guys. Big fan and supporter. Can't wait to listen to this at work tomorrow while I clean up. Thank you, Jeremy. Arjun Shanker says, so about a month ago, I was at an Avs game. I remember that they won the game, but that whole time I was surprised at how bad they were playing. Seemed like on the power play in particular, they would take a couple passes, take a shot, and the rebound would get cleared. So they only had like a few shot attempts at best. I remember being sort of disappointed because I thought they were playing poorly. Then there was a Red Wings game the next day that I watched, and I realized how bad it could be. The Avs were moving on the power play. Even if they didn't pass, they were constantly rotating and creating openings, and the Wings just all kind of stood in one spot and never forced the defense to move around. The Avs were regularly getting a few tries on net, and the Wings weren't even getting in the zone reliably. Long story short, I was watching so much good hockey that I thought good hockey was bad hockey. Then I watched bad hockey, and oh boy, was it bad hockey. Also, quick follow-up on my comment from last time. It started being fun again. Joseph Fournier says, do bum bum bum. He updated the onomatopoeias there. Ryan, you have a lovely singing voice. Thank you, Joseph. Time for the final round of Phase 2, the Athanasiou 1-for-1 trade game. Back to the final group of the list of players you guys, by majority, said you'd trade Athanasiou 1-for-1 in the first phase. You hear that, Officer Broccoli Rob? You are the GM of each player listed below. Would you trade your player 1-for-1 for Andreas Athanasiou? Thomas Chabot. No.
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 Vitaly Kravtsov. Yes, I would. If I'm New York, I would.
It depends where you think New York is at in their rebuild. If you think they're good right now, you do it. If you think they're still a couple of years away, you don't. I still think they're a couple of years away, so I wouldn't.
Joel Farabee.
No.
Adam Fox.
No.
Connor McMichael.
No.
Ryan Poehling.
Montreal might, but I'd say no.
What's he doing this year?
Poehling, he's been hurt for most of the season.
Oh, yeah.
He pales in comparison.
Brendan Smith. Just kidding. Time for a good laugh. Remember this golden nugget from a few episodes ago? Ryan. Stadium jerseys need to be erased from the... Did I say annals of history? Annals of history? Annals of history? I don't know how to pronounce
Both.
that now. And this one too. Ryan, he's got 69 points on the season. Evan, nice. You guys are the gift that keeps on giving. It's so great having all three of you here. Thanks for keeping things fresh during this god-awful slump. 2-game winning streak. Woohoo. Stanley Cup wings and 4 Stay Fresh cheese bags.
Someone posted that before the game.
Hassam Al-Qassem says, looks like they're burning the first year of Zadina's contract. Should they consider bringing Sider up soon and seeing if he's worth doing the same on?
too much of an unknown to go down that path yet.
He's still pretty young. I'd give him at least a full year in Grand Rapids.
Also, why don't we talk about the Griffins coach more? They haven't been very good this season. Do we need to fire both coaches at the end of the season? You can be damn certain that Ben Simon's going to get a hard look at the end of this year.
Honestly, I haven't had a chance to watch enough Griffins games this year to really form an opinion of whether it's lack of talent or poor coaching schemes. Looking at the Griffins roster relative to the rest of the AHL, it makes me very, very much question what Ben Simon is doing, because that's a team that should be better than they are. But I can't really give a good opinion without watching.
Which we'll be doing March 27th and 28th.
Yes.
Everett Johnson says, give up one for the rest of your life. Alcohol, poutine, golfing, or the Red Wings defeating the Penguins. Golfing. Golfing for sure. Sorry, Evan.
I give up poutine.
Yeah, I'm on the poutine train with that too.
Oh, well, sorry. Bunch of sinners.
I appreciate that none of us picked alcohol.
It was close. I can't drink anymore. I get hungover after like 5 beers. It's pathetic.
You can make it to 5 without a hangover.
Well, I'm already on the couch ready for bed at that point.
Rowan says, good day, duds. As one streak ends for the Red Wings, another is going strong. Noted cop, Stars fan, and bad opinion man Rob Crispo is just lighting it up with trash takes. Let's take a stroll down memory lane. Rob's unnecessary and completely wrong hatred of Darren Helm continues to bite him in the arse. Did you see Rob cowering from the truth bomb last episode when there was, and then was nowhere to be seen to come and chomp down on some humble pie when hashtag elite sniper Darren Helm went in on the breakaway and started the avalanche of goals in that game, which undoubtedly filled the entire team with confidence to go on a 2-game win streak. Then there was Madison Bowie.
Hold on. I'm going to get that. I've never ever said I don't like Darren Helm. I actually very much like Darren Helm. The Darren Helm is elite joke stopped being funny 2 years ago.
Then there's Madison Bowie, who he was fawning over. Oh, he has some good skills. Yeah, dummy, but he's generally been a disaster, which is hashtag bad when most of your job is to stop opposition.
Wait, are you pro Bowie or anti-Bowie?
I went pro Bowie and then he shit all over my dreams. So now I'm very much anti-Bowie.
Hey, I'm glad you stuck to your guns. You didn't do any revisionist history.
And last but not least, you wanted Zadina in Grand Rapids, you absolute hack.
I still think there's a lot of merit to that based on how this season's going. But now that he's up and we've burned the 10 games, there's no going back.
Can't wait to see what out-and-out horrible takes appear on today's episode. In fact, no, I don't. Just get Mel on instead because at least she knows what's up. Heck, maybe even make Evan talk a bit more. It can't be worse. I think it's really good when Evan talks. Saves us a lot of trouble.
Exactly.
My bad takes are kind of drowned out. Jersey time, rank 'em. Islanders, Fisherman jerseys, Caps, Eagle jersey, and the original Mustard Cat Nashville jersey.
Oh, this one's easy.
Caps, Islanders, Mustard Cat.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Ding, 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 ding.
Stay fresh cheese bags, but not until Rob issues a formal apology. Matt Cheney says, hey boys, I don't really have a question, but I thought I'd spread the word on something positive. As you may have heard, Oscar Lindblom of the Flyers was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare bone cancer. There's a movement starting with having Oscar being voted in as the Metro All-Star captain as a way of showing him the hockey community is with him in the fight. Just thought I'd spread the word. If we can vote John Scott in for the lulls, then we can vote in Lindblom for good gesture. Let's show everyone why the hockey community is great. Thanks for the great pod, boys. Keep it up. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's do it.
That's it. Scott Martin says, what's up, guys? Was wondering what your take on the Nielsen situation is. Heading into the next season, it gets harder and harder to picture where he fits into the roster. Top six seems pretty set between Glennie, Rass, and Veleno. I don't know anywhere that Nielsen becomes a better option at center. Do you guys think it'd be worth to consider buying him out or just ride him out for the next 2 seasons?
You ride it out until you're a contender, and given that they're not going to be a contender anytime soon, you just ride it out.
Ryan just put his facial hair on the line on this one.
Keep up the great content, boys. Let's go Red Wings. Dylan Krill says, hey guys, how much do you think the Red Wings will realistically sign Mantha, Athanasiou, Bertuzzi, and Fabry to? Oh man, I beat you to the punch. And do you think long-term or bridge? Long-term for Mantha, maybe Bertuzzi-ish. I think Bertuzzi and Fabry, you see shorter term. Athanasiou. I'm very curious about Athanasiou. My hot take still is that he gets moved.
Don't do that to Mika, please.
John Evans says, hey, hello, gentlemen. Greetings from Ohio. Looking at the top 2 lines potentially for next year and was wondering if the writing is on the wall for Athanasiou. Man, we're beating people to these questions. Mantha, Larkin, Bertuzzi isn't going anywhere, and a potential Veleno, Zadina, Fabry line could squeeze him out. He's too talented to be another Darren Helm, and though he's been a great option in the third line / penalty kill, I think it's possible he has more value as a trade chip, maybe to get a 3 or 4 defenseman. Thanks as always for the great content. Keep up the great work. The return for him would need to be high to justify letting
I'm
him
not
go.
trading Athanasiou for a fourth defenseman. Like, those are not easy to find, but pretty damn easy to find.
David, who I believe is a new patron, so welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast family. And if you guys are new patrons, let me know, so make sure I don't miss saying hi to you. Time to put on our tinfoil hats and figure out what Stevie was doing with the random Zadina movement midweek. I have it from some not at all reliable sources on Twitter that this could have been a failed trade for Hall. Eisman had all the pieces for the trade and just needed to move Zadina down for the temporary roster spot, but at the 11th hour it fell through. Thoughts on this theory? I don't really understand how it would even make sense, honestly.
I love that tinfoil hat theory, though. That's like 4-dimensional. I wasn't even paying attention to that.
It doesn't. There's no cap implications to anything the Red Wings do right now. I don't get it. Nobody understood it. Nobody. The beat writers, the national writers, nobody had a clue what was going on. I'm going to say
it was a paper move. Like, that was confirmed that it was a move that was more transactional. Zadina never even moved towards Grand Rapids. He knew he was coming up the next day. But what the paper move was for, I'm not sure.
I'll buy it. I like something exciting. We had a move for Taylor Hall, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, I would like it to be true, but I just can't see it being true. We have some time for some Reddit questions. Cardass R says, how do you guys feel about McElrath? Wasn't able to watch a good portion of that losing streak because of school, thankfully. From what I hear, he's supposed to give us some toughness and get in fights, but I haven't really seen any of that from the games I was able to watch.
that's because toughness and being able to get in fights is not a valuable trait in the NHL anymore, unless you're actually good at the game of hockey, like a Tom Wilson. And at an NHL level, Dylan McElrath is not good at hockey.
You can be tough and good at hockey.
It's possible. There's lots of players who do it. Look at Ryan Reeves. He's a passable fourth line
Evander
NHLer.
Kane.
Yeah. So those fighting specialists like Dylan McElrath have no place in the NHL anymore. Unless your team's really, really, really bad and you can literally plug anybody into that defense and nobody will notice the difference.
Hey, that's us.
We got some Twitter questions. Lauren says, what are you hoping to see development-wise from the prospects playing at the World Juniors?
Yes.
All the points and gold medals.
I want to see a tournament MVP. I want Mo Seider to step onto the national stage and absolutely light it up.
Joe Veleno, tournament MVP.
According to Scott Wheeler, there's a good chance that Team Canada's captains group is going to feature 2 Red Wings. His predictions were Joe Veleno is going to get the C, and McIsaac's going to get an A.
I said something about Joe Veleno dominating at the World Juniors, and someone goes, "Do you really think a guy who's minus 22 in the AHL is going to dominate?" I'm like, "Yeah."
He's playing in the AHL and now going to play against children.
Yeah, he's going to play against kids where he's dominated before. Yeah.
You are aware if the Grand Rapids Griffin played the best team in the entire CHL, they would win 15-0.
Kara, oh man, there's mayhem upstairs. We're wrapping up soon. Kara says, this isn't a question, but Ryan, please give me validation on the De La Rose goal. Thanks.
I saw that. I laughed.
Oh, boy. We'll go to some hashtag AskWWPs. I always forget to check this hashtag, but I think that's a good way to check for questions. And that's still loading, so we'll grab another Reddit question. The Magic Man 1343 says, question for Ryan, does your family celebrate Christmas with a bunch of Chaldean food? Yes. If so, which one?
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If somebody wants to eat, I'll just say Chaldean food.
Yeah.
What's a staple?
Dolma, those grape leaves. Those stuffed grape leaves.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
I've had those.
It's not just Chaldean. A lot of Middle Eastern food kind of spreads across.
Give me a top 3.
Dolma.
It also has to be readily available.
Oh, no, none of it's readily available.
Okay,
yeah,
just
sorry.
top 3. Dolma.
Pacha, which he mentions. There's a lot of
What's that?
stuffed lamb and stuffed meats and yeah, it's really.
Get me on board with that.
Yeah, some of them are stuffed intestines or sausage.
I'll pass on that.
There's one called kebab. It's the beef rolled in dough and fried and put in a really nice broth. It's really amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. Tabbouleh.
I like how easy all the food is to say
Hummus,
as well.
yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, your mom's hummus, unreal.
I'm Anglicized, I'm speaking Cald English when I'm saying those. It's not really how you pronounce it, but I'm not even going to try. Dolma's my favorite. And the hashtag WWPs aren't loading. So with that, we will... Oh, no. We got some. Al Robbins says, hey, Dub, should I let my 6-month-old daughter watch the double dumpster fire of the Red Wings hockey with me, or follow the Iser plan and put her innocence in a Stay Fresh cheese bag for a couple of years? Now, start her early so she appreciates it when it's good. Alex Boyer says, I already tweeted this, but Larkin for Selke? Someday, I maintain someday, his numbers are unreal and we're not appreciating them enough. With that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast. Last one after nearly 5 years, Evan. Last one in Brad's
My
basement.
ass is so tired of this chair.
I got some of the chairs assembled. They're nice.
I'll take anything. I'll take a flat 2x4.
Someone was like, how come you don't have rolling chairs? I'm like, oh, Evan's fidgety. We had to get something that's stationary.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd like to thank all of our listeners, our name level sponsors. I Hate Poutine and the Lions, Scott Martin, Luke Johnson, Mitchell Shinkowski, Arjun Shankar, Hassam Al-Qassem, Clayton Van Dyken, Mike Reed, Aaron Taylor, Langabir, Matthew M. Rice, Kayla Thompson, Ryan Lewis, Sean Levine, Matt McKay, Hannah Lee, Kaylin Wood, Jacob Turner, Charlie Elkins, John Evans, Rob Thiel, Craig Kibble, Stan Olson, Ryan Lewis, Danny Jr., welcome, Kwaz, and Simon Anderson. Thank you all so much. We will see you midweek.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to check out wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find links to other ways to support the show, such as Patreon, official podcast apparel, and more. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Winged Wheel Pod. And of course, the hosts at Brad Crisco, at Ryan Hanna WWP, and at Hockey Town Evan.